All right, hello, Froggy Fresh. If you're on there now, good to see you. It's good to be back on. I've been super busy getting some orders ready for a couple overseas clients and needed to get those done. And I'm following up here with one of those clients with a Stampscapes based event that they are hosting. And I'm scrambling around here grabbing some stuff. I just found out that No, I thought I was out of cotton balls. I have two left in here. Good thing I looked at it closely because I had this bag here in the trash. I'm doing well. How are you? How's your big project coming along there with that, I don't know, what do you call it? That train piece, that several unit piece of yours. I haven't even logged on to Facebook in a few days. I've just been so busy trying to get this order out and or done and out, for someone's deadline. So I haven't been keeping up, but I need to log on to Facebook. Hello, Jolene. Good to see you. Thanks for logging on and checking this out. If anyone else is on, good to see you. Well, or good to have you. Hello, Phyllis and Maureen. All right. I'm going to be doing. I wouldn't call this speed stamping here, but we need to get 8 pieces done here. Barb Joe, good to see you. We have 8 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. I feel like I'm dealing cards, blackjack table or something like that. But we have 8 mirror cards. Okay, so I've always talked about these being really fast or quick to produce types of cards, and you will try to illustrate that here. One of those things about doing things like this. Jeannie and Linda, good to see you. Crazy Cat. We're starting off with these dynamics. Okay, so I'm doing a mirror card, but I'm also starting off with, your dynamic surfaces in the recent discovery of photo papers. Okay, so I'm going to be doing the holographic ones. I'll do 4 holographics and 4 star ones. Okay, I think I'm gonna do. I don't know. I'm not gonna do 8 different compositions here, but we'll do. We might do 4 and just repeat. Or maybe what I'll do is I'll do 1 composition on this one and this one, and then we'll do 4 kind of real simple compositions doing both like that. So let's see, let's organize that like this. Okay, so I've already pre-established my foundations right here. So half page, black cardstock, and it's just because if I have a little space in here, black tends to not show that gap as much as white by the time you lay this in here, If it's a little bit of a gap like that, that black doesn't really matter because I usually have something in that seam right there anyway, and it's usually darker right in here in the corner where that white really shows up. So I don't know, one of you guys told me to do that on a previous live stream. So 8 half page black pieces of cardstock folded in half, quarter page, 8 quarter page silver stocks pre-mounted in here. Now the reason why I don't pre-mount this one in here is because sometimes I'm stamping right here on the edge right here, and sometimes I don't want that down in this area. And plus this stock is thicker than this one. Okay, so if I am stamping a stamp across this one, if I did want it to go down between this one and this one, there's going to be a gap in here because this stock it's probably 3 times as thick as this one, I'm guessing. So that's why I'm going to have to stamp on this one separately and then add it into. But look how beautiful that is right there. Now I think about it, maybe the gold would have been better for this one, but that silver doesn't look too bad either, does it? Like that. Okay, so anyways, a lot of payoff for the effort when it comes to this type of thing. First of all, what you stamp up here on your piece is reflected down here, so you're getting twice as much coverage as you do up here. or on one side, it's repeated down here. And there's so many colors in this inherently to begin with. We don't really have to add in much color if we do. I mean, I might add a little bit of a colored pencil since we can on this one. Hello, Paula. Beth, good to see you. Vicky, good to see you. All right, so we have these things ready to go. So like I said, I don't know. This is some pretty, fun stuff to use. And it is certainly easy to use, and especially for the amount of reward that we get from effort. I know there's probably some kind of terminology for that. I don't know. I guess payoff. Payoff for effort, Okay, so brilliance inks. Okay. The Brilliance White right here, and 100% cotton balls. All right, so let's see. These are all going to be vertical format. I haven't done a like a portrait mirror piece before. I don't think that would work though, because by the time you get, all the action on these mirror cards is usually down in this corner right here, because what you have reflected up here, I mean, it doesn't really show up very well down here because you're too far away from this location down here. I mean, you can I can see my finger here, but it's much more, obvious right down here, closer to that reflected area. And then so I usually put stuff down here. So, I mean, if you go up top like that, I don't know, it seems like it's defeating the purpose of this entire mirrored surface. I mean, it's kind of dynamic and things anyways, but all right, so that being said, let's get into some of that real kind of mass production part of this. So I'm going to be laying down a lot of the whiteout areas down at the base here so I can stamp my imagery down here. Black images against, especially this one right here, it just doesn't show up very well. Okay, this surface is like super loud, okay? This one is too. I mean, it seems strange when we think about this one as being a more mellow surface than anything, But in comparison to something like this that's patterned as well, this one gets, just on its own, it looks kind of crazy. It almost seems unusable for kind of a landscape type of application, I guess you can say. We would think it's too loud. I mean, I don't know. I think that's why none of us have used it. I don't know. I haven't used it for landscape stamping before until recently. So, but I think it works great. All right. So, anyways, let's see. Where do you get these papers from? Always in the description, Froggy Fresh. They're all listed down below. Personally, Amazon. Okay, so, and there's a lot of different brands of that, speaking of that. Okay, let's really ink up this Brilliance ink right here because I'm going to be doing a ton of it. This is what you call blocking out here. You can get, maybe these will be some ideas for, like Christmas cards or something like that here. When I look at, I need to look at some different vinyl photo paper or sticker paper websites out there. I've only looked on places like Amazon, okay? And I don't know, because they have everything, it seems. But I want to see if there's like some different color variations of something like this. Maybe, is there a Halloween-based one, or is that too specific? Because they sell this, this types of stuff all over the world. I don't know. There's just some, whole areas, continents. Many continents that don't celebrate like Halloween, but would there be one with like a moon on here and a witch kind of in a, a glittery looking, orange black scenario or something like that? That would be kind of cool. But I don't know. You guys can tell me. Hello, Christine. All right. So anyways, let's get to it here. Enough blabbing on my part. Okay, so I'm inking this up, and you're always going to get this kind of That real hairy, don't read that. I'm just showing you this against the black right here. Okay, so I'm inking this up, and it's going to be fraying a lot, okay, like that. Let's see. I know you see that, so always just take your lid and just smash that down and press a lot of your ink back into that. Okay, now I've really inked this up because I'm going to be doing 8 of these, okay? So I normally wouldn't add that much ink to this right here. Dollar Tree, Froggy Fresh. That's the vinyl there? Who would have thought? I'll check it out. Okay, so what I'm going to try... Now, I haven't decided on what I'm going to be stamping on any of these pieces yet, but it's all kind of universal. What this represents is like some clouds. In the end result, it'll look like some clouds kind of rising from the horizon. Maybe, you know, I'm going to stamp some imagery over the top of it that's going to be reflected in this mirror card scenario here, okay? So I can refine this. I'll just get kind of a base kind of a application of this going on all of these. I don't know if you've seen me doing one of these, you'll have seen them all. You can go and, you know, fix dinner and I'll come back. It won't take that long, but I don't know. You're gonna go take a 10-minute break right here. But see this right here, I'm gonna go up, I'm guessing about, I'll do about a third, how's that? And then when I decide when I'm going to be stamping on these, like if I need to go up a little bit higher, like, you know, if I'm gonna stamp a lighthouse or so, you know what I mean? Something like that that's gonna go up here, or a tree trunk, then I'll add that portion to it. But I would say that I'm going to be doing at least a third of a page like this with imagery down here, you know, because we want something to reflect down below. So, you know, the areas that are blocked out like that are going to be much more visible, and you can see that application of it down there. I might want to feather it up a little bit too with kind of a little bit of a drier application, just so it's not like this solid band of, you know, hard white ink like that, okay? All right, so anyways, let's see. Let's just get this going right here. All right. I know not dynamic stamping demonstration prospects right here in terms of this part of it. But here's a good thing right here. See this? I mean, this starry thing, it's way too much in terms of, for me, the visual volume in a landscape scenario, all right? So that's why I just think that some more mellow areas on here just, it makes them usable to me, all right? Okay, now one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to do a couple of these with just kind of this perimeter type of application of clouds, the cloud cumulus. Okay, so let's do this right here. So I'm going to be doing even more of this, but, you know, hopefully it won't take too long. Now, you don't need to get this down super smooth at all when doing this, because by the time you stamp everything over it, it all kind of blends in anyways. All right, so anyways, I hope everyone's doing well. I don't know where everyone is in terms of your weather. We're having like a super humid day here after, I don't know, this tropical storm came through here in Southern California. We thought we were going to get at least 3/4 of an inch. And they did in some areas, but I'd be surprised if we got 1/10 of an inch. When was it? Friday. I don't know. We were sure hoping for a little bit more. But no flash floodings where we were. Okay, so anyways, that's going to be my cloud cumulus scenario. I might do a couple of those. See like that? And then if you have a little bit showing through in some of these areas, maybe I blocked it off a little bit too much, like that right in there, in those little spots like that. That can be good too, okay? All right, but anyways, that's not a perfect smooth application by any means, and you don't need to have that like that. All right, so let's do that with this one right here as well. I hope everyone's out of kind of like wildfire areas. A lot of areas that are getting like mandatory evacuated, which we did one time, I don't know, 15 years ago or so. Let's see, cold and gloomy. 15 degrees Celsius, yeah. Send some of that weather here. Is it cold and gloomy? Sounds really good to me right now. After we just went through a heat wave. I think it was a record-breaking heat wave. All right, so I'm going to make this one a little bit more kind of irregular. Okay, so this right here, I'm kind of leaving a little bit of an area up like that. Okay, there, you can see it right there. Oops, I got a little right in the middle there. I'm getting done my fingers here. Here, I'll use my knuckles. And then maybe my knuckles are going to be inky too. Okay, now this really dries really fast, okay? Now, if you haven't used photo paper before, or you have used like foils, it's quite different. Okay, I just totally did get my finger right in there. Okay, I'm gonna add in some more like this in here. Okay, I need to adjust. I'm getting too inky in some areas like that. But I'll just add another cloud in there like so. These are mass produced, you know, in terms of like my mass production of these cards right here. So I don't know. We don't want them identical, you know, as in terms of a giveaway, like a totally uniform whatever scenarios here. As my illustration teacher used to say, you know, in terms of mechanical reproduction of anything, you know, you want everything to be kind of unique. So that leaves us off the hook of having everything completely uniform. All right, so adding this in like this. I might want this kind of more perimeter application on all of them, actually. I'm kind of coming up with these things like, you know, as we're doing them right here. Let's see. Hello, Paula. How are you tonight? Thanks for joining in. We are doing if anyone is still on, 8 cards, okay, in somewhat of a kind of a assembly line style here. All right, so adding in these clouds or just some blot, you know, whited out areas for imagery. Okay. Yeah, let's do that. I think I like that scenario. See this like this? You have your fingers like this. You don't have to get one of those Lazy Susan style stamping apparatuses. You have your built-in ones. I was talking about some rubber stamp technology through the years, and one person had like a spice rack type of little Lazy Susan type of thing that they were selling. God bless them, you know what I mean? You know, entrepreneurship and stuff like that. And all it was that it was like there was some kind of like paper clips on the side or something like that that tacked your piece of paper down so that you could spin it around on a plastic Lazy Susan, you know, instead of, you know, flipping around your card, I guess. All right, so there's that. So we're done with 4 of these. What time is it right now? 6:49. All right, I was blabbing a little bit to begin with. don't know. I think each one of these is probably, the foundation of it is probably taken about, I don't know, what is it, like 2 or 3 minutes maybe? And I might be refining them too, you know, just based on whatever we're going to be stamping on here. Hello, Bugs! 10:20 a.m. here. 10:20. Wait a minute. Is my clock right here? Well, good morning to you, Linda. All right. I think as I'm doing these, I think I'm getting more irregular, which is kind of refining it a little bit more. See that right there? Than uniform. And I like that varied look, you know, like that. And apparently that ink is all off my fingers because I'm not leaving it all over the place. So that being said, the Brilliance inks are really fast drying styles of inks, and they are also water-based, okay? It doesn't mean once you get it on here, you can kind of wipe it off. If it was on foils, holographic foil, it can, but whatever it is on this vinyl sticker paper, or it might not just be the vinyl sticker paper, it's the vinyl photographic or photo printer printing capabilities of it that has some kind of surface on there that really it probably has some kind of thing in there that creates this process in which, you know, your photo prints, you know, coming out of your printers are going to dry quickly. You know, you don't want them sitting around, having to sit around, you know, waving it around, you know, for it to you know, for it to dry like for, you know, 15 minutes. It probably sets up and dries pretty good in, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes, you know, max. So that being said, so when I apply this on here like this, it really dries very quickly. Okay, so let me see there. There is 3 of those. Okay, let me see, 1 more of these. Or 2 more of these. All right. This being said, this is all your work right here too. Putting it in like this, you know, the rest of it is just kind of stamping the imagery on there, just like, you know, stamping, and that's it. We're not going to be doing any more ink blending with dye-based inks or anything like that. I might add in some colored pencils based on the imagery that I used on here. In fact, I'm sure I will. But that stuff's really fast. So as far as card constructions, though, remember that on this type of thing, you know, most of the color work is already done. You know, most of the times we're stamping something out and we're spending all of our time coloring it, you know, which is, you know, a lot of the fun of it. But, you know, if you want something to go really fast, this is a good way to do it. And I'm adding in quite a bit of, you know, white into this one too, or all of these. But, you know, I don't know, it's not that much time, relatively speaking. For me, it feels like a lot of time because I'm not doing 8 of these at any given time, or any single time before. I'm usually doing 1 each one of these videos, but I'm just to show you just how fast these can come along. I don't know. I can't remember the last time I kind of mass-produced anything like this. It's been a really long time. I think I was in some stamp exchanges back when. I'm talking about the 90s or something like that, where, you know, I mean, the only way to share something was, and there were colored lasers at the time. You know, you can go to like a Kinko's Copies and get them copied or something like that. But, you know, we weren't doing online sharing, and people weren't taking photographs of their things and getting printouts or anything like that, like at a 1-hour, you know, photo place. So you had to do like 5 or whatever 8 of these ones right here. Nova Scotia, and okay, there's a half-hour differences somewhere. I didn't know that. Huh. That is interesting. All right, let me see right here. Okay, we got 3. Okay, I want 1 more of each of these. Let me move this stuff out of there here. I've got all this other paper ready to go. I need to keep this stuff separate, you know, so I can, well, I can pretty much tell this stuff is a lot thinner than my holographic foil. But I do need to be careful about that because they do act almost the opposite. Okay, so keep that in mind, folks. If you have some, you know, the type of material like this that looks like this, but it's foil, okay, or cardstock, it's going to be different. How do I make a YouTube channel? Yeah, you should. Oh, I mean, there's different ways to do it. Some people just, you know, some people do a YouTube channel just off their phone, you know, and just do a live stream right off their phone. You just have to, you know, have your account there. And I don't know, there's just different ways to do it. You know, you can pre-record. If you want to live stream, then I don't know. Does anyone have the answer to that in terms of, I haven't used my phone before, but I think there might be some kind of applications that you can get like right in your phone if you want like the most basic like live streaming capabilities. And you just go straight off a phone. But then if you're going to pre-record, you know, that's another scenario there. You just upload your videos and whatnot. Live stream is a little bit more tricky. In terms of getting all of your settings and things like that. I use this software called Ecamm Live, which really simplified it. Otherwise, I was using this other software years ago that I tried out that it was such a production and hassle. On this Ecamm Live, I just press go live. I mean, you have to set up this camera like here for this, you know, kind of picture in picture, but that's all kind of easy to do, and you can learn it within a few different steps or, you know, different videos. But yeah, I mean, if you do live Zooms, you should be able to do live YouTube vids. Okay, let me see this one. I can't even see what I'm doing here, you know, a lot of times with this because it looks like this as I'm doing it. But then you just hold it out at, you know, a different angle and you can see how much coverage you've achieved. Now, one of the things I'm noticing is that my pad here is getting it's getting drier maybe, but I've also used a lot of ink off of it, so keep that in mind. With a fast drying ink, like if I had like a StazOn open like that for this amount of time, it'd probably be completely dry. All right. Speaking of that, I should re-ink my StazOn pad before I use it today. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's just leave it at that. Is that it? Oh, I got one more to do. All right. Extend your naps another minute here. Paper or vinyl? I'm using printable vinyl sticker paper. I have done these before. Don't be mistaken though. Like over this last year, I've done a lot of foils that are cardstocks, okay? And that scenario, I'm using a similar type of methodology, but on those ones, you do have to spray seal them. With this one right here, this Brilliance White is absolutely stuck down on there, okay? And it's just got a completely different... It's like the difference between, you know, white photo paper and white glossy cardstock or something like that. They look the same. They don't feel exactly the same, but they're pretty close. But the printer, you know, the photo papers have a completely different type of formula on them in terms of the drying time of certain types of media and the compatibility with certain types of media. Okay, so just keep that in mind. It doesn't mean, no, so a lot of times it seems like people will run into, and it seems to be like in the the stamping public, I don't know, consensus, I don't know, kind of a, what do you call that, this kind of knowledge base or whatever. Someone will try something on a certain type of surface and it won't work because the media that they've tried on there initially is incompatible, but there might be other types of media that are just ideal for that type of media, but it just gets out there after someone has tried it once and it just kind of spreads like wildfire, and it just keeps getting passed along without anyone trying anything else on there. So so keep that in mind. So don't, what I'm getting here is that don't I don't know, don't close the door on any type of surface that you think might be cool to be able to be used. Just use it with the right types of, media. And I mean, like the StazOn Black is just one of those kind of mediums that kind of neutralizes all of those different types of incompatibilities out there, or a lot of them, okay? You can stamp on anything with this type of thing right here. But now, for me, in terms of the usage of this type of vinyl, though, it's this white. It's like the combination of these two. You don't have to have the StazOn. I've tried other media on here, and it works really good. But the StazOn, for me, on the lower portion of this just makes it so much easier, and it just takes out all the... I don't know, the variables in terms of brand and type of ink. Just, it's just use a StazOn. Okay, so that being said, I think I am somewhat done with this. Let me get this a little bit more ink on here. You do go through a lot of brilliance white when you're using this in these types of applications. I wasn't used to re-inking quite so much until I started using a ton of pigment inks on my surfaces, mainly the foils that I started using last year. Used yourself for photographing my screens and post from cell. I learned that when I look at my Kindle, my scene color is very different. It can be, yeah. And one of the things when taking phones, just focus in, try different locations within, especially like, that being said, that totally reminds me of, people have a hard time photographing foils and reflective types of surfaces because there's so much light being reflected back at the camera. So when you get your camera on there, just, choose different areas in terms of exposure and try it that way. It might expose differently for those types of things. I followed someone that did lives that didn't have many subs, but he only had so much time. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like me, I didn't... When I wanted to do some live streams, and I wanted to do, like, even just videos in general, okay? And I wanted to get everything right. I like doing photography and stuff like that, so I was trying to think of sound and all that type of stuff. It was like, all right, I just do it, and you can adjust later, with sound quality, picture quality, and all that type of stuff. And I don't know, my first YouTube vids were a point and shoot digital camera that seemed to have a video time length of, I think it was like 14 minutes or something like that. And then it was the capabilities I was told of the memory card over the camera, because I was asking the camera manufacturer, hey, why do you cut off that our video? Okay, I'm looking at my white here just to see how much I've laid down on these ones right here and how much I'll have to adjust, if anything. But yeah, my camera too, my little point and shoot camera kept overheating too, so it was like, oh my gosh. But I wasn't going live, I was just recording it and posting it, but that's why they're really bad, and the sound is all kind of, wonky because it's, it's a point and shoot camera. So, but yeah, so all levels of YouTube, I don't know, whatever production value. Okay, so anyway, let's get to it here. All right, so I'm looking for my cloud. I couldn't find it. I've got a floor full of stamps right here. Let me see, my cloud cumulus. It's probably right in front of me somewhere because I like to keep that stamp out. Oh, there's my reed stamp. Where's it? No, there's my aspen. Okay, let me clear some of this stuff out of here. I need to find my cloud stamp. This one might be interesting. My cloud with lightnings. Oh, I got it right here. All right. All right, so let's see on this right here. Okay, so let's oscillate this a little bit. I'm going to do each compositional scenario on, the two different types of surfaces right here. So I don't know. I might do 4 of the same. I don't know. But let's see. Let's grab 2 of these and get these ready to go. Okay, so if you just joined in, what I've done is I've pre-formatted a half-page piece of black cardstock, folded in half for a quarter-page scenario right here, mirrored scenario right here. So this is going to be going in here. If you haven't seen this done before, and see, we have those clouds being reflected down in this area that represents water below. The reason why we didn't glue this or tape this in here to begin with, or glue, whatever, is because this paper right here, this vinyl, is a lot thinner than this one. So if I tried to do this and stamp something across here like that, there's going to be this big gap in between this lower portion and this top portion because this area right here is so much higher. Okay, so we're going to be stamping our imagery in black StazOn ink. There's not really a whole lot to, with this type of construction here and media. All right, let me keep this because I'm going to be doing something with that. All right, here, let's do something. I really like this scenario with this covered bridge. Oh, but I can't have that covered bridge going down in the water unless it's a flash flood type of situation down here where the road is flooded out. Okay, let's go with the lakeside cabin right down here. Okay, so this is going to go like this, okay? So this cabin right here is the area that I'm really blocking this off for, okay? So, I don't know if you can see it right here. This cabin right here is going to go, roughly about like so. So I want to build up a little bit more cloud cover around it. So I need to be doing this, like I said, when I first started this, I'll be adjusting for the imagery that I, decide to use on these pieces right here, okay? Let's go like this. Okay, so I've just built that up a little bit like that. Okay, now let's do something. Let's have some fun with this cloud here too. This cloud will take care of a lot of different areas up here, just so it makes it a little bit more interesting, in my opinion, than just having it just these blank clouds like this, which I think look okay too, but just not interesting enough for me. Don't forget to drink, Kevin. I do have my drink here. Linda, thanks for reminding me. Let's see. I do live streams and have less than 1,000 subs. I use an app, though. Okay, Bugs, what app are you using? Are you using it with on your like desktop or laptop computer or something like that? Vicky, silver cardstock, and in any of my mirrored things, there'll be a link to it. It's a pack of 60 pieces, 8.5 by 11, and I don't think it's gone up in price. It's gone up in price at times, like from $17 to $20 or something like that. But I think very reasonable if you like this type of thing and you're going to be using a lot of sheets of it, okay? I bought 60 sheets. For me, I'm going through a lot of it, okay? But if I was just doing personal stamping, that would last me a lifetime. And I don't know, it's fantastic stuff. It's really inexpensive per sheet, buying it that way. And it's one of the more mirrored surfaces that, from what I saw online and also from what I've seen people use online. Okay, so it's not only the cheapest, but it's like the most mirrored for my purposes. All right. Okay, so I've wiped off the top portion of this really good. Okay, I've wiped almost all the ink off of that. Okay, and I'm going to be going in like this so that I get a nice transition zone in here and I don't have this hard line up there. Okay, from the edge of the top of that cloud right there. All right. All right. Now, I should really be doing all of my pieces right here because I think I'm going to have this cloud going around on all of them. But I don't know if I want to put everyone to sleep by doing that all at once. Unless you guys need a nap, you know, another nap after doing all that whiteout. Okay, but what I mentioned too about not worried about getting your, you know, if you have like I don't have any other colors of StazOn. If I had like a dark blue here or something like that, or a light blue, I should get a light blue if they have one. Does anyone know if StazOn has like a light blue? Or like a cobalt blue or something like that? That would look excellent up here. But yeah, something like that would be really cool. It would probably really harmonize with the these foils right here too, with all that color on them. But anyways, yeah, what I was saying is you don't have to worry about getting your white laid out, you know, perfectly even or anything like that. And I have these little, you know, pieces kind of going out like that. So no big deal. This one right here is completely different. It's really saturated. I think this was the first one I started doing. I don't know, went crazy with it. All right. But yeah, don't worry about any of that type of thing. By the time you stamp your imagery over the top of these things, it just makes for a very, blended, you know, I think perfectly harmonized scenario. Okay, no, here's one of the things where this black kind of goes into this right up here. It almost kind of disappears with that, you know, that, see that like that? I mean, that little black going out in there, you almost don't even see it. So it's not really any big deal if you're going to be stamping over that type of thing, okay? So don't worry. You're not going to get a perfectly smooth application unless you're just like, you know, super methodical about the placement of it and everything like that. It's going to get real blotchy. And in the end, I think it looks even better having it a little bit blotchy like that because some areas are a little bit more opaque and some areas are more translucent. So you get some of that starry types of textures or colors showing through. And I like that look. Let's see here. Prism. Okay. There you go there, Froggy Frick. Prism. Whatever. Yeah. I haven't heard of that, but I don't know. I haven't looked at a lot of those different types of applications for things like phones. But talk about, you know, convenience and things like that. That would be a good way to go. Okay, so anyways, so the reason why I'm not doing this down here, because that's where I'm going to stamp my imagery down there, okay? All right, I'm going to do a couple more of these like that while I'm at it here. Maybe I won't do all of these on the live stream here. It's going to be like extremely boring for you guys, unless I do just completely different scenarios here. But all right, let's see. This cloud right here, so every time, this is not just for your for this vinyl usage here, okay? Do the same type of thing, especially if you're using a darker color like this with this cloud right here. Wipe off your perimeters like this, okay? And wipe it off pretty good. Most people don't kind of take off, as much as they think they can or, should in terms of being like really effective with it. But I spent a lot of time with that in my first class because, we're using Lakeside Cove large nature set number 8 and the cloud is in there. But this cloud is such a great filler stamp for any type of sky scenario. I use it at the base of things like waterfalls. I use it on my horizons. I have it coming from up above. I have it in deep space imagery. It's the filler stamp for a lot of different skies. And when we're stamping kind of nature types of scenes, we're running into a lot of sky, types of opportunities. So, and it's also one of those opportunities in scenic stamping where you can provide something that looks inherently soft against, harder line trees, plants, everything like that has a crisp edge. This contrasts with it really well. Okay. Editing on your phone also, that's awesome, Bugs. That's so, convenient. My son does a lot of like posting to his Instagram account, and I don't know, I need to learn some of that. But he does a lot of editing of his vids, I think, directly on his phone. All right, so anyways, like that. Okay, I don't think I've done enough down here with that white, but and also one of the things that we're going to do, or that I do, is like to go over this a little bit with some additional white so that things aren't quite so just harsh in terms of the black. But if I stamped it in like a lighter blue to begin with, that would be, I wouldn't have to do that. So I don't know. That's one of those color refinements or something like that that I should do. Okay, so anyways, okay, I'm going to do one more of these. So I have at least two, I don't know, whatever scenarios here. Okay, now this one has a real thin application of that white up there, okay? So we'll see what this looks like with more of that color showing through here than on, something like this one where there's a ton of it everywhere on the entire perimeter, okay? All right. Hello, Kay. Oh, you're making a police department now, huh? That is so cool. Wait a minute, did you finish with that train one, or you're working on it simultaneously? Several blue stays on inks. Okay, I need to take a look at those ones, Paula. Now, especially now that I've kind of come across this vinyl as something that I'm probably wanting to do a lot more often. The thing about this vinyl for me, it's those colored pencils. It's just that ability to do that. So I get the benefit of foils, the looks of it in terms of the reflective types of aspects of it. But when you can add in those things, and if I can use colored pencils, I'm sure I can do things like graphite, charcoals, Conte crayons, all those different types of hard media types of things. If we can do that, like on this kind of dynamic surface, that is a formidable, medium to utilize in there. Okay, so anyways, by the way, when I'm doing this right here, I'm tapping off some ink. It might be I don't know. That's what I do with my dye-based inks. It's probably not doing anything with the stays on because this is already kind of dry on here. No, okay, actually, it's coming off pretty good here. Sorry about that squeakiness there. All right. Okay, so we have, let's see, we have 4 of these. Okay. We got 2 of each of these scenarios here. Let's go with the lakeside cabin one first. on, we'll do it on both of these ones right here. Let me see if I have enough room. Like I say, I think I have enough room on both of these without adding any additional white on here. Yeah. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, so one of the things about these kind of mirror card constructions, okay, where this intersects this portion of it, okay, like this, that represents the water line, okay, or a horizon or whatever, all right? Okay, so if we look at something like this, can everyone see this right here where the cabin is right here? These are the reflections down here, all right? And see if I have my wood-mounted version of it where you can see it a little bit better, but some of these images are not on the horizon. This is the horizon. This is the water line right here. These are the reflections down here. Let me see if I have my Lakeside Cove handy anywhere. Actually, that would be a good one to use on here too. Okay, here. All right. So where you would stamp something like this out on here, okay, it's not at the base of this, all right, like from here up, okay, because that's the water back in here too, all right. So that's where you want that kind of meeting to be between, you know, whatever, the joint right here, okay, right in here. You want that to be like right here, ideally. Okay, not down here, or down here especially, okay? You want it up right here. Does that make sense? Because that's where the water line is starting from, okay? So, with something like this, all right, let's see. This block really isn't big enough here. Here. So I'm going to roughly aim it to be right in here like that. Now I think I'm just going to, not do these reflections down here. These reflections are down here. You can stamp it off, that lower portion like that onto the silver right here. But the thing about this is these reflections down in these areas like this. On this one, the rocks do come down like this, but these reflections right here are there because we're usually stamping this whole thing on a piece of white cardstock, right? But when you're doing this, the reflections are are going to be there in that mirrored area anyway, so you can choose to do it or not. You can just bypass it completely, okay? All right, so that being said, okay, let's do it on these two right here. Okay, so everyone kind of get that? Everyone following me on that in terms of kind of your water lines and connecting areas like that? All right, so this, I mean, you don't even need to ink this portion of it down there if you don't want to. Okay, I need to work a little bit fast. I'm always slow when it comes to this, but let's see. Let's go like this, and I'm going to go a little bit higher just to make sure I don't want to stamp out. You don't want to stamp out like half your cabin or something like that. If you go up a little bit higher, then that's fine. I wouldn't go down too low, though. All right. All right, I stayed on this too long. I don't stamp fast enough. It stays on ink and it sticks like... Look at this. It's like I'm peeling off like something like that. But there's your cabinet. Oops, I didn't stamp really good right there. But I end up putting kind of that veil, that fog in front of that anyway. So I just look at that as a head start. So anyways, there's your kind of your scenario like that, okay? Complete with a little fog in front of the cabin. All right. All right, let me make sure I don't mess this up here. Okay, not you know, if I stamped it on a holographic again, that's no big deal. But I want this one to go on the starry holographic here. Okay, one thing I can look right there and see where my horizon line is. Okay, stamping it out like so. All right, and lifting this. This sticks. Okay, that was much better. See, I came off of it much better. I think on that one right there, it might have lifted off some of the, it peeled off some of the cloud or something like that. I kept it on there too long. I'm a slow, I need to be a faster stays on stamper, okay? So here we get this one right here. I stamped it a little bit off center, but no big deal. Okay, but see that right there? And a lot of that reflective action right down there in that corner, like so. I'm gonna have trees down here too, okay? All right, so that is that. Let's go with the trees down in this section. All right, let's see. I mean, you can stamp more on here if you want to. One of the things that I've come to think about in terms of these mirror cards, though, I don't know if simpler the better is the exact description of my aesthetics when it comes to this, but having those things like reflected down here and not having too much. I think this would be a perfect place for a quote or something like that. But I don't know. I just think not having so much stuff going on might actually look a little bit better, because one of the things about these reflected areas is that kind of the more contrast that's created around the image and that reflected area down there, it just stands out a little bit more. Sometimes I've gone in with too much stuff, and it's like the reflected area doesn't read really well because there's just too much stuff going on up there. Okay, now that's just on like a piece of white cardstock too. Now we're talking about, you know, a super busy surface and that reflective foil like that. So, you know, I especially don't want to have too much clutter up there. Okay, so with these trees right here, stamping on the silver foil is a lot different than the silver or the vinyl holographic sticker paper. I always have a hard time saying that. I have to say that a lot. It's too long of a terminology, and it's really the printable holographic vinyl sticker paper. Okay, so with these trees right here. Okay, so what I was mentioning on the silver foil, it's not sticking as much because this silver foil is very, very sealed. It's not, it doesn't have that emulsion coating on there that your photo, you know, printer paper does. So you need to make sure that when you're stamping these out on here, you don't kind of like skew it and slip, which I do all the time, okay? Not so much with the stays on, but a lot more with the Brilliance. That was a lot thicker of an ink. But I've switched to stays on from the Brilliance for down in this area because I don't have to spray it. The stays on, just you're stamping it down there and it's set, okay? All right, so we have this little scenario like this. I leave a little bit of an opening for kind of the viewer's eye to enter the scene from, and then you get this right here. And not only is it really nice in terms of your dimensional aspect, having stuff in the foreground here, but see these trees right here on the side, they block out that area like that. See that right there? This scenario right here, this image, right, goes down like this, right? So we have these little areas on the side like this that aren't covered from edge to edge with that reflection. So that's where these trees really frame off and block off that area, you know, well enough. And plus you do this right this, and it creates that little parallax thing where when you do a rotation like this area down here isn't rotating as far as the perimeter like this. So you get that kind of more three-dimensional looking space, you know, that you would see out in nature or whatever. If you have your hand up to your eye, you know, and you go like this, you know, it moves more than, you know, something in the distance like that. So look at like little reflective areas right up here, and it's also reflecting down here. So you got that inherent kind of built-in, I don't know, whatever lighting scenario or whatever. It's like having little Christmas lights up in that sky like that without having to add in like LEDs to your pieces or something like that. Oh, that's awesome, PNF. You have a lot of experience with that vinyl. When did vinyl start to come into use in crafting? Was it the Cricut or something like that or whatever? Oh, good night, Froggy. Yeah, I didn't even know about vinyls until about a year ago, because I wasn't looking it up or anything like that. But I started looking for it when I used like an old sample of holographic cardstock from Chrome Coat, which is no longer around anymore, and I didn't realize that at the time. Well, actually, I knew that at the time, but I didn't know Chrome Coat made that vinyl holographic. I mean, not vinyl holographic, the holographic cardstock. But then I was finding like tons and tons of holographic vinyl, though. I was like, what is the holographic vinyl being used for? I think I even saw it in rolls, but I was just looking all over for that cardstock, but it was like, oh my God. We found a lot of it out there in terms of some remaining stock out there, but I know we had a really hard time locating it, so I don't know. I never thought to try the vinyl version of it, but as it turns out, maybe it's even better than the cardstock in terms of media compatibility, at least. I don't know. I'm sure there's stuff on there that maybe doesn't work as well, but for my purposes, it's really fantastic. All right, what happened to the rest of my folded mirror cards here? Where did I put them? Oh, okay. I put them underneath this. I thought there's too many of them. I don't think they're going to be underneath that. Okay, let me see right here. All right. I'm going to use that Lakeside Cove on these on a couple of these other pieces. So I'm going to do these the pine trees down here right now. I'm not going to do all 8 of these. It's like too much repetition and boring viewing here for that. I'll come up with some different scenarios here. I'll do it in a different live stream, maybe tomorrow or something like that. But let's get these trees in here. I haven't slipped on one of these yet. Knock on wood. But be careful on this one, though, Like I said, it's easy to kind of go like this and skew it a little bit. All right. It's not really slipping, but when we're like pressing it down there like that, you have to kind of be definitive and kind of hit it and just light, even pressure, and then you got it like that. And of course the StazOn is going to dry really fast on there. But if I don't do this for a while, if I don't stamp on the foils for a while, I kind of have to get used to it again, because a lot of times it's like it's one of those things too. I think that stamping on the foil like this and that vinyl like that, from a tactile standpoint and from a ink transfer standpoint too, it's almost like the opposite, you know. You saw that StazOn, how it was really sticking to that vinyl. Well, this one right here, this is like, in terms of a surface that, you know, will probably be, you know, that we might stamp on, it's probably like one of the least porous surfaces that we would use, unless some of you are stamping on like glass or something like that, or, you know, that type of thing. That one right there, I almost felt a little bit of movement. All right, so I'm going up a little bit higher with these ones. I'm getting a little bit more bold with my application of that. Okay, so that is that there. Okay, let's go with the, where's my Lakeside Cove right here. All right, large. You can use the smaller one. I should use the smaller one. They're using a lot of the smaller one in their projects. I'll do another, maybe that's what I'll do tomorrow. Okay, here, let's do this right here. We have these trees. I'm gonna go like right up there a little bit. I'm gonna have some of that little water line up a little bit higher like that, I think. Let's do that. Okay, I'm gonna show you something. I'm gonna do something on this one too. Okay, we need a re-inking on this one. Where did that re-inker go? Oh, here we go. I'm used to, I've used mostly dye-based inks throughout my whatever stamping life, and I might re-ink even my black pad once every, if I'm doing a lot of stamping, once a week. So when I started using Brilliance inks, fast drying Brilliance inks, and now it StazOn, it's like, oh, you gotta re-ink it like every time, you know? Almost. Which seems so strange to me. Okay. Overlap your previous impressions. And like that. All right. So we have this scenario right here. Okay. And we get... Okay, now here's the thing. I was going to... When I said I was going to do with this one down here, I was thinking about taking this portion and just stamping it like right down there. I don't think we have to though, right? Because those rocks are already reflecting in that water area like that. So yeah, let's just leave it like that. It's super reflective like that down there already, huh? I almost need a little bit more clouds or something like that in there. Maybe we'll add some of that back in there in the form of some kind of misty haze or something like that. Oh, well, you'll be able to compare, contrast it with this one right here that has a lot more clouds above that, whatever, horizon line, tree line. Okay, I like to make up words that only people in the know understand. On that fivs, how do you pronounce that though? PJB. You have to kind of spell it phonetically. Okay, let's see. Okay, here we go. Here. I almost feel like I need to re-ink this again from like 5 minutes ago, 2 minutes ago. Quarter page, Vicky. I keep it real easy for myself here since the vinyl and you know, most of this stuff comes in 8.5 by 11, so I don't have to do any math. So this one right here, you know, if these are quarter page, this is a half page right here with the folded card. Some of those vinyls, was I looking at some of those vinyls or something? They come in an odd size for some reason. Maybe it's more the international sizing or something like that than 8.5 by 11. Maybe that was it. But yeah, the pages were different. It was like, was it 8.25 by, I don't know, like 11 or I don't know. It was something like that. I figured it was kind of the international sizing or something like that, you know, because all those things are sent, you know, they're making that and sending it out in the world. Okay, so anyways, there's that one right there. Look at that holographic, like, look at that. It's like a pyramid right there, huh? It almost looks like Northern Lights or something like that. Here's one of the things I wish I could blend in kind of those streaks of black ink in here in a graceful manner so I get those holographic looks up there. I can do that on cardstock, vinyl cardstock, but I can't do it on this. It's just, it dries too fast. Look at that sky. Up in that sky looks like twilight, or I don't know, nighttime, but down below in this area right here, it looks like, I don't know, like a sunrise or something like that scenario. Okay, so anyways, let's see here. Okay, so let's go into these right here. Let me just try to finish these off really quickly here with some additional touches. And then, and maybe I'll add in more later or something like that. But let's see, let's go with a couple different blue. Here's black right here. And your colored pencils, might as well use them because we can. All right. I don't know. I'm just grabbing these out. I'm grabbing kind of a range of tones going from kind of light, you know, medium darks or something like that. And I don't know. Cabin right here in a nighttime type of scenario, you wouldn't be able to see colors anyway, but who cares? I think it looks good on this artwork. So here's a little bit of a range of tones like that. All right. Let's come in like this, and let's bring in a little bit of tone into these clouds like this. So I'm just using this really lightly like this. So remember I was talking about, you know, if I had some blue to stamp this out with inherently, then maybe I wouldn't be doing this, and maybe I would, I'm not sure. And I'm just putting this in really lightly like this. Maybe if some of you do pastels or something like that, pan pastels, you can probably add in some pan pastels in this, like super easy. If you haven't seen me do this before or talk about this, that Brilliance ink on this type of vinyl printable vinyl printable holographic sticker paper starry. This white on this type of paper really sticks to this surface so well that when you go on to it with these colored pencils, it's almost, to me, it feels like I'm laying it down right on this copy paper right here. It doesn't feel like I'm laying it down on, you know, a nice high grade, you know, Bristol board or illustration board that has texture to it and everything like that. It would be, you know, ideal for colored pencils or anything like that. But I can lay this down on these pencils like this onto the surface right here without any of that white peeling off or flaking off. It's on there really well, so it's not scratching off with this pencil work. So I love that, and I love adding in these little types of touches like this of color back into that white like that. All right, so I'm not focused here really well, but you can see all that blue tinge around on that entire end. So it's not, you know, I mean, I think it looks fine as is, you know, with that cloud like that. But I just think that these colors in here just, I don't know, it just really enhance the piece like this. And I find that I always thought that colored pencils kind of have one of the more kind of mellow looking end results, when people use these. Unless someone's using it in like a super kind of like impressionistic way, with hatching and stuff like that. But just in general, with how most card makers use colored pencils, it's a really mellow kind of soft type of look. And I love that type of contrast with a super loud, reflective type of surface like this. I think this makes for a really mellow kind of application of depth. I wouldn't want all this to be super bright out here and kind of attention getting. I guess it's attention getting in how mellow it looks or in contrast with it. But, if this, if we were doing like a colored pencil piece, I think just in general it would have on a piece of cardstock, it would have, it would have a real kind of, I don't know, soft and kind of serene look to it, like pastels would or something like that. So I think it's a perfect combination with that. But see, this blue right here is like that same blue that we see right reflecting right here. PHSP. So we'll just call it short. We'll say FVSP. Yeah, I think the acronym I'll have to learn that acronym there. The pastels, I would use a dry pastel. I wouldn't use a oil pastel, Linda. But they should work just fine on here. I haven't tried it, but if you can use an oil pastel on something like a piece of copy paper, it should apply down on here. I'm guessing. I haven't tried it or anything like that. That's Linda's. That's Linda. Your assignment here. Try that. Try the pastels on there. All right. So here's a little bit of brown here. Yeah, this is a nighttime type of scenario here, but in this scenario here, we can see color. All right, like that. Let's go for a little bit of a warmer tinge right here. I'm going for a little bit of a lighter tone. Oh, this one will be a perfect one with that interior lighting on here. We'll use our white paint pen for that. All right. All right, so I'm doing a couple here. This one's the more kind of just the kind of washed out scenario here from my absence of I don't know, whatever pressure or something like that in that area. I think it peeled off. I pulled off some of the that stays on ink on there. I'm sure that's what happened because when I pulled it off, I saw some of the white on the back of my stamp. I kept it down there too long. All right, so if that happens, we'll just redefine that cabin a little bit more with pencil, okay? So I'm just, just color it in like a coloring book or something like that. And, any area that didn't stamp out really well, you'll be able to see it anyway, okay? Or if you're stamping something like that out on a stamp positioner, then just hit it again. I don't know if that would work though. Gosh, on a stamp position going down like this, it's like it would like stick to the card, like crazy. Do you come to Australia? I've never been to Australia, but the closest I ever went was probably in the early 2000s or 90s. They used to have conventions out there, and I had an exclusive distributor retailer down there, and she always wanted me to come down there. She would bring groups out to the U.S. and they would travel to like Vegas and stuff like that, and to go to the Carson convention, which was like the convention at the time. But she always wanted me to go, but I just couldn't get away for that long. Orders had to go out, which is still the case, so. But I've always wanted to go there. That's for sure. I wouldn't surf down there, but I loved surfing growing up too. So I'd want to go to some tourist spots, as well. Um, let's see. Oh, good to see you. Have a good night, Phyllis. Okay, so adding some little shadows, but see this, I'm adding little shadows underneath my rooftop right here, right? You can't do that with like dye-based inks or something like that. I don't know, maybe you can do it with markers or something like this, but isn't the ability to use colored pencil on this type of surface like this amazing? Now, see, I don't think, this isn't going to go, it's not even applying on this vinyl. Now, I'm not gouging into it. Maybe we can get some of it, but you know, I mean, I'm not going directly on this, so I'm not really saying, colored pencils are perfectly compatible with holographic paper, to use on there. They're not. They're really compatible with the Brilliance ink that's been applied on the paper, okay? Because this isn't going to stick to this, so it's not like we could do this. So I'm really, I'm just really applying it all over the, the Brilliance ink here. Let's add a little bit more of these rocks right here. But okay, I'm adding a little bit more than what I probably should be doing, especially if I'm doing like 8 of these. But this is the parts that, the types of things that I really have fun doing on here. Like adding little shadows down on these rocks right here. I don't know if you see that. Like at the top of that rock, I left a little bit of that white area. See like that right there? And being able to use like colored pencils like that are really amazing to me on this type of surface like this, because I can do shading on those, like the tiniest of little detailed areas like that, like a tiny rock like that. I can add, that tone at the base of it. Let's do it a little bit on this one right here, okay? So here's these rocks right here. You can see these ones a little bit easier because they're much larger right here, but let's see, let's go with a little bit of, here, I'll go with a little bit of blues down here, something like that, right? And you tone it down at the base of them. Okay, let me just add some blues. I'll add some black to it, but you'll see what I'm doing here. So kind of halfway up these rocks, no matter what size they are, you kind of hit it with whatever color. If you're doing a sunset scenario, then maybe hit it with oranges or something like that, colors that are reflecting the lighting that is reflecting on them like that, okay? And then you come into it with this one right here, and maybe a little bit lower, you define a kind of a darker area like that, okay? So you have this transitioning area between kind of black and blackish blue maybe on those rocks, like that. And all these rocks seem a little bit more dimensional as a result. Here's the rocks without, okay? And here's the rocks with, yeah? So you're just reiterating. I already kind of have them a little bit toned in at the base of the rocks, but you just kind of reiterate it. But see how much more rounded and volumetric, these ones have a lot more volume in them. And then, of course, when you do it like that, on a mirror card situation, you get twice as much coloring for your money because you just colored these ones up there, and they're reflected down there like that. Here it is without, okay? It's a little bit more anemic like that. I think it looks okay if you don't do it there, but I mean, this took like, I don't know, 60 seconds, if that, to do that. So just leave your little bit of highlighting on the top sides of things, on things like this cabin right here. See this right here? Here's the top surfaces of it. I didn't want it just white on that one, but see, it's darker on this side right here and lighter on the top. So it kind of represents being, an area being top lit like that, okay? All right, so let's see. That being said, maybe I'll hit this one with the, I haven't even used black on here yet. And this is a kind of a nighttime, nightish, I don't know if this one's night, this holographic paper, but the starry one definitely kind of represents a nighttime scenario. It doesn't mean that you can't bring any color up on the top sides of things, but just don't bring as much, or leave a little bit of a highlight. Or if you do end up coloring it all out, you can also hit it with, highlight with your white pen here, okay? All right, so let's go into this, and that window is light like that, but adding in kind of a thinner layer of like a white brilliance over this darker paper or colorful paper like that isn't going to be quite as stark white as maybe a white pen like this. This is white acrylic paint pen. And the windows of this house are being illuminated like this. Okay, so you see that white. See how that really stands out like that? Isn't that fun? But look how much fun that is. That tiny little feature like that, right? But look how much it really stands out in that reflected area like that. Okay? We'll hit some of the, let's say some of that light from the interior of the house is hitting some of these rocks like this. So on the top sides of some of these rocks. I don't know if you can see that right there, but those little tiny dots like that, see those little dots like that? On the tops of the rocks, right? Remember we colored the base of the rocks? And let's see if that will give us any kind of payoff in the end. Yeah, see those little highlights down there on those rocks like that? So when you see a little scenario like this, you know, those little details like that, I think really pay off for us. Okay? Same thing with this one right here. This one's really looking really kind of drab down here now with that kind of little bit more of an anemic looking impression, but we can have some of this lighting in here like that. Put some highlights over there. Okay, on this one right here, this one's lighter. And we get that like that. All right. It's a little bit too much, but I need to put in some of that little kind of low line kind of fog coming up over the top of that area. Anyway, still, okay. All right. So let's see. Let me see this one here. Let me just see what time of day this one represents. I want a quote up here on this one right here, so I'm not going to do this on this one, but I want to hit this a little bit. Let's see, what time are we at right here? 7, almost 8 o'clock my time. All right, so let me go in here and I'll add in some finishing touches. Okay, so reiterate, kind of going up these rocks right here and just not doing the very top portion of them, okay? Leaving them a little bit lighter like that. It doesn't have to be a real harsh line, okay? Coming up from the base of it, going up a little bit less like that, so you get this transitioning gray scale or darker area down at the base. Like that. Just go with a real light touch too, okay? Don't go like this, okay? It's more like this. All right, so you get nice rounded rocks. I don't know, like I said, it doesn't take too long to do. And let's take a look at that right there. All right. All right, now these starry ones, for me, what I like to do is I like to go in and add in this. Some of your Dr. Martin's Bleed Proof White, which is an opaque white watercolor paint. Very opaque. All right. I would love to travel there, Linda, that's for sure. My client at the time was in Melbourne, and she used to come out all the time for the Carson convention. I think at the time it was HIA, which turned into CHA, you know, the big wholesale crafting shows here. And so I'd see her all the time. I'd see her sometimes like twice a year. I think they came out, they got out of stamping. She and her husband created these things called, I think they were called art molds, but it was the crafty lady with a KRAFTY, and that was her company name. Yeah. I always wanted to go down there, but I just couldn't get away for like a week, week and a half, even, to get down there, or a week, to make it, worthwhile to, all that travel back when. Okay, so splatter painting right here. I'm going to put some over the front of my imagery too, like it's like snowfall or just stars. Okay, I'm getting a real fine spray pattern. Sometimes I take too much ink off, maybe. Okay, this is a little bit better. I'm getting a more varied dot pattern here, splatter. I'm trying to, let's see, where's that book? My client gave me a book because she wanted me to do, yeah, she wanted me to do some different gum trees, for scene stamping. Okay, so there's my spray pattern on there. Maybe I didn't get it too good, but it just leaves another layer of imagery, like, when you can't really see anything, reflected in there. That little spray pattern on there adds a little bit. I don't know, maybe it didn't add too much because these backgrounds are so busy to begin with. But let's see right here. Okay, so let's get these glued down here. All right, now these are vinyl sticker papers. And the big question that I have is, should I use my tape thing and then tape them down in here? Because it's easier to position, with this tape runner than using this entire back area that's very, very sticky, and to lay it down there like that and to lay it, Sometimes I don't get a good adhesion, or I get a bubble in between, but I think I'm just going to try it here. After all, this is sticker paper. We might as well just try it out, huh? Okay, let's see. Oh, Linda, thanks for joining in. Let's see. The hardest part of this this whole process is getting that sticker paper going here. I can't get a good edge here. I don't want to fold it. Yeah, anyone have any tips for me on this? Okay, let me try it. I'm trying like different sections. Maybe I just need to keep going for the same section. I need like one of those suction cup things where you suction cup it from both ends and peel it off, like a computer monitor repair thing. Oh my gosh! I need a microscope and a pair of tweezers, I think. Okay, I think I got it. Okay. Whew. Oh my gosh. All right. So you can see how thin this is. This is like a piece of, I don't know. This is so thin though, right here. It's like the hardest thing I ever do in stamping is doing something a kid can do, stickers. All right. Okay. Here. This one's not so bad. Ah! I spoke too soon. I was saying this one's not too bad because it's only a quarter page right there. But you see how sticky that is? I had it there, but then I don't know, I got too bold here. This is like a comedy TV here. Live comedy TV. Okay, let me get that laid out again. All right, here we go. All right, folks, my head's gonna get in your way here, but I need to match that up like that. All right. Okay, there we go. There's probably some kind of system that's you guys know of that's much easier to do that with. I think if I do it again, it's not going to be any big deal. Okay. But I mean, that, having that sticker paper like that, I mean, it's pretty awesome. I mean, it gives me a really good contact right in there. I think I'll stamp out some kind of word stamp down there. I'll do it in a future video here. I don't want to run too long on this broadcast right here. But definitely like a little fisherman or something like that down there, like a focal point, right? Right now we don't have any kind of like central focal point on here, which I usually like to have. Not like on those 11 by 17 pieces. The monster maps, but on this one. All right, let me try to get this one again. That how, you know. Oh, on this one right here, I do need to add in that whole kind of area in here with some additional color too. Oh, hey, look at this. I'm getting better at it. I'm getting practiced at the whole thing here. Watch this, like, touch something else and, like, totally stick to it, you know, and I can't use it. Okay, so just go like this, you know, like I said, when I think on a half page, I'm not going to do this. It's just it's too long for me. Okay, so like that, and okay. Right there, and up. Okay. We'll have to put that other one on the bloopers reel. Okay, so there we go, like that. I have that black line down there a little bit, but oh well. Okay. All right, so let's see here. Let's add in a little bit of, this is what I'm going to do on all of these pieces. Not today, not tonight. But let's see here. Okay, let me take this. Here's my little sticker paper right here. And down here, what I like to do is I like to sandwich my pieces, my imagery, in between layers of ink. Okay, white ink, okay? So we laid the white ink down as our base coat. We stamped our imagery on here. We added colors and everything like that. But then what I like to do is I like to add in some of this white back in here like this. Not over everything. Don't put too much, you know, because we want those areas to reflect strongly down there. But I want to go for some variations. So see that right there where that's kind of like that tree over there is a little bit, you know, kind of misted out, fogged out. Let's do it on the side right here too. Like about like that. And what we're doing is in kind of a kinesthetic looking way, I guess, is that it looks like the imagery is now enveloped in that substance, which would be that fog. See this right up here where there's some of these trees, you know, just add a little bit of this tone. Don't do it with too wet of a cotton ball, okay, otherwise it's going to be hard to control. But see that right there? See that variation now? But doesn't that look better now? You know, like that. In here, see that? I put it right here, a little bit down here at the base of it. But it just has a little bit of a better look. It'd be better if I didn't have that line right in there. Maybe I need to use the tape or something like that. But okay, but here up on our clouds right here, see these clouds look a little bit harsh, right? But they don't have to be. See, they're black right now, but then you just put some of this over it, and it's a light gray now, right? Okay, so that's one of the beauties of using white. That it has a little bit more of a, I don't know, I guess a friendlier type of look than, you know, perhaps, I don't know, kind of storm threatening looking of a scenario. All right, like that. So especially with something like clouds being enveloped in whatever illuminated moisture, which is what they represent, right? We have now this nice billowy looking, softer look to it, like that. Okay. I think it would look pretty good down here too amongst these trees, but being that these are stamped on the foil, I did that before with the notion that I was going to be spray sealing it, but since I don't have to spray seal anything up top here, I just assume leave that area just as is down below like that too, okay? So let's put a little bit more on this one right here. Okay. If anyone's watching in Norway, you might be getting one of these pieces. And you can think, you know, if you get one of these, I don't know if it's a drawing or what, or if it's a contest or what it is, but they're having this Stampscapes based event featuring a bunch of stamps and online, I think, workshops and things like that. And I don't know, but they're gonna. There's like, I don't know. There's like 10 giveaways or something like that. But yeah, if you win one of these, you can think about, you know, how you saw it created and, you know, how I almost screwed several of them up. I'm joking, folks. You know, there's always something you can do with these pieces like that. I I had a sticker paper. It was like a half-page sticker paper, and it stuck like it did on that previous one. I think I just, you know, I almost had to just you know, cut it out, you know, just lay it on a piece of paper and just cut it out again and just, you know, repaste it down there, which we can do if we totally mess it up. I wouldn't want to have to cut it out of this, you know, but you can. All right, so anyways, see this kind of putting this low line mist right down here like that. See, it got this area right here got a little bit muddled because there was like a lot of the cloud right in here. The black of the cloud showing, and then I stamped the trees over it, okay? So it got a little bit muddled in there in terms of, I don't know, some definition in there. So I'm just putting in a cloud, or you can put in a cloud like that, put this over the top of it, and put another tree in front of it, so you can have layered trees in this given space like this, which is really cool to do too. But see that right there? You can get that mist. Look at that mist rising off of the surface like that, you know, in there. And it's being reflected down in that water like that, okay? But see what that does right there? Just those little touches like that really can add to the overall feel of a piece like that. And you can do the same, you know, in little areas up here if you want to, a little bit more tone. These are all those little refinements that you don't have to do, but I think it adds to the overall kind of look and maybe kinesthetic nature of a piece. It looks a little bit more, there's a little bit more of an integration of feel into it when you have these softer textures like that. All right, so I'm going to finish these up in a future video. I'll get some more of that repetition. I'll figure out some additional imagery that I want to do. I'm going to do 2 more different scenes on these ones right here, on these other pieces that I have ready to go. And then we'll figure out some kind of like focal points and maybe some word stamps in here. I love word stamps on like my water, as it looks like it's kind of floating on the surface like that. But yeah, some kind of focal points down here, a little canoeist or something like this would be really fun in here as well. Okay, so anyways, a pokey tool, is that what we need to do? Is that, PJB, were you referring to getting that sticker going? I don't know, I need something like that. Or maybe I just need like one fingernail that I grow out or something like that. Oh, look at my fingers with all that white pigment ink on that. That'll come right off though. Good thing it's water-based. But here's a couple kind of, you know, not finished pieces, but kind of merged pieces like that. I might take this one right here and cut that off. I'm going to put that down. I'll sandwich it into one of these other pieces. That's too big of a gap right there. Yeah. So anyways, yeah, never use the sticker part of the paper. No, I got it down to that second one. You just, I don't know, you got to practice a little bit and just make sure you don't just touch it. You know, don't touch like a 1/4 inch of it. Otherwise, it's going to stick like that. Peel the back part of the release paper. I tried that though. I thought line up the non-sticky. Yeah. Well, that's what I was trying to do there and failed miserably a couple different times there. Let's see. When removing one cover piece of paper from the double-sided tape, let me see. When I'm removing one cover piece of paper, ready to go. Huh. Okay. I'll try that. Practice makes perfect. I need to learn how to, peel a sticker, apparently. I need to take a class in that. I'm joking. Oh, any Vicky? These are Stampscapes stamps, so they're sold on any place that sells Stampscapes, but stampscapes.com. Any place that, I don't know, companies usually have websites out there, so if you're ever curious. But on the underneath all the videos, there's links to the specific stamps that are used and all the products that are used in that. I don't know if Vicky, you probably don't know this. A lot of people don't know about this, but underneath videos where it says description, you just click show more, and most people that are doing these types of things list everything that's on there. So just click on show more. It's not going to show it on this video right now because I didn't know what I was going to be using on here, so it's not listed. But they get listed later on, so listings with links. And then you can use that as a direct link to those direct objects. Or if you look at something like this, there's probably 10 different types of vinyl, hologram. What was that? The abbreviation for that, but there's probably like 10 different vinyl, holographic, starry sticker papers out there, printable sticker papers out there. I don't know if they're the same. This one happens to be the Koala brand. They told me that this one was like in some kind of improved surface or something like that, so I don't know what that is. It probably has something to do with the chemistry of it. I don't know if they're talking about it in terms of printing, though, sending through a printer, like a inkjet printer. So not how I'm using it with these types of inks like this. So yeah. Stampscape stamps aren't sold on that. They're sold on PayPal. And if there's any kind of secure site out there in the world, it's PayPal. That's why we use the shopping cart, the PayPal shopping cart. So I wouldn't buy stuff off of most stamp websites are using a smaller surface, but we use the biggest kind of online, not Amazon, but PayPal's one of the biggest online, banking transaction types of companies in the world. So they have the strongest security on there. So ours only provides a link to it, but all the transactions are taken care of on PayPal and are completely off of our site. We only provide the links to the shopping cart section, and the shopping cart is completely on PayPal. So you have to allow for cookies for if you add multiple items to your cart, though. Otherwise, it's not going to remember what you have in the cart. And none of that financial information is ever shared with the vendors that utilize PayPal too. So, and that's for everyone else's security on there. All right, so that being said, that's why we chose them in terms of a secured site. We don't have to have a secure site on the Stampscape site because there's no transactions being done on there. And PayPal will always have some of the most tightest security measures out there. And I don't think you hear about PayPal getting broken into like, some other types of websites out there. I bought some stuff from Clearbags recently and they were compromised. And they're an online seller of merchandise bags and stuff like that. So it's one of the examples of why I use PayPal. I don't have to worry about that type of thing because they're always going to take care of that. All right, so anyways, folks, that being said, details in terms of that. If you have any questions, drop me a note in the comment section. But we will finish these up. I got to finish these up because I got to get this out to out to Norway here. So I have some other things that I'm going to be filling in here. What I might do on a future video where I'm finishing these ones up, I'll leave the finishing touches for like these two right here, but I'll get these ones kind of started and we'll do some finishing. I'll, stamp some stuff out from scratch or something like that too on these foundations right here that we've gotten prepped. And I don't know, we'll just do, I don't know, we'll have a little bit of a portion of each step of the way, including the final touches and whatnot. And yeah. So anyways, again, these are really fun to use. I would look into it. Stays on, and Brilliance ink stays on, can be found anywhere, probably anywhere around the world, I would think, at least in terms of the type of ink, in a permanent solvent ink. And the vinyls, I think, are out there. Okay, the holographic cardstocks were really hard to find if you were like in Australia or something like that, or overseas in Europe. Okay, but the vinyl seems to be much more readily available in all those different areas because it's just much more popular right now. The stuff's, getting coming out of China. You know what I mean? There's tons of it being sold out there. But the Brilliance White, though, that might be a little bit of a hard thing to find. You can find, a lot of people were buying the Brilliance inks from the UK. So if you're in Europe, there was some kind of UK, United Kingdom, not Ukraine, seller online where people out here were getting this stuff cheaper than buying it from here in the US. The US, a lot of places were sold out down here. So this ink right here used to be really, really popular, but it's been out there for like 20 years. So it's just kind of fallen out of the, consciousness of, the rubber stamping public. Everyone used to have some kind of Brilliance ink out there because it was one of the few pigment inks that you can, or the only pigment ink that would dry on glossy cardstock, and everyone was using glossy cardstocks as well as matte cardstocks back then, so everyone had it. I don't know if everyone used it because you didn't necessarily need to have a pigment ink used on glossy cardstock back then. You can just stamp on it with dye-based inks, but I'm finding it immensely useful in terms of foils and now the vinyls out here now, and I love the application of it, so it's really fantastic. All right, so yes, good day everyone, good night, good evening, good morning, whatever time it is for you. Thanks so much for joining in, and yeah, we'll get back to some of these other pieces here in I don't know, maybe for the next couple days. I have quite a few of these to do for those prizes. And Vicky, if you have any questions for me, drop me a note drop me an email or something like that. If you have any questions on stamps, what ones to start off with, what type of media. You can also let me know what type of media you have already in terms of applications of certain stamps or stamps with the media that you already have. And that's always a good way to start. If people like using Copic markers or something like that, use those types of things. That would always be my recommendations, because using your favorite type of media with just this interlocking seamless type of stamping can always be fun, and you're using stuff that you're kind of already familiar with, and I'll show you how to translate that into things like scenic stamping and how to create your lighting within your pieces using whatever media you're already doing. All right, so thanks again, everyone.